Welcome to Tino's Time Wrestling. And on this episode, we're going to talk about one of the most important Raws of the year. I am aware that it never really does deliver, and it has been a very long time since the Raw after WrestleMania has been very exciting, but there is a lot in store this year. Who knows what is going to happen after a very successful WrestleMania 37 and a new cycle begins, although it isn't technically the new season premiere of Raw, but it does feel that way. Like I always say, we talked about it in my WrestleMania post show that just went live on YouTube. If you haven't yet, go check that out. I talked about it, how after WrestleMania ends, it's a clean slate. It kind of feels like it's new. So, what are we going to have going into this amazing Raw tonight? I want to start off with what is next for the big man, the big almighty Bobby Lashley. WrestleMania 37 opened with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. They put on a phenomenal show and they got the crowd going. And after a year of not having a crowd, it was amazing to put on a match like that. WrestleMania Backlash is the next major pay-per-view for Bobby Lashley, and the big question heading into Raw tonight is who is going to be the next challenger for the Almighty's title. There are a few options, but it seems like maybe the one is Braun Strowman. He had a great championship, or not a championship match, I'm sorry. He had a great steel cage match with Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. Maybe we see somebody new. Maybe we see somebody come up from NXT. Maybe we see Aleister Black come up and get that opportunity. Maybe we see the return of the Beast. Maybe we see the Beast incarnate return for time for maybe a match. And maybe they set up a match for all the way in August for SummerSlam. I don't know, but I cannot wait to see what is next for the Almighty. The next thing on the card for Monday Night Raw I want to talk about is the reign of Rhea Ripley. This is her brutality, and it's her time to shine on the main roster. And now, after she put on again another phenomenal match with Asuka at WrestleMania on Sunday night, we're gonna see the Rhea Ripley era begin, and I am so excited to see what happens. I said it again in my WrestleMania post show. I'm gonna continuously go back to that in this Raw preview. I talked about maybe we see the return of Becky Lynch, and I said, what if we see Rhea Ripley sitting outside or sitting in the ring talking, and then all of a sudden the mom comes out and she challenges Rhea Ripley? That would be awesome. That would just be a moment, and that would be just a great way, and that would just be a great moment to have at a Raw after WrestleMania. That would be awesome, and that's what I'm looking forward to for Rhea Ripley and the reign of Rhea Ripley to begin. The next thing on the card for Raw, let's talk about it. It's the Grand Slam champion, AJ Styles, and his big bodyguard, Omos. They begin their tag team title run. Who is going to beat them? Who is going to challenge them? I think that we should really see some other tag team. Maybe we see a tag team like the Grizzly Young Veterans come up. Maybe we see somebody like that. But I think that AJ Styles, now that he is a Grand Slam champion, I think that it's time they need to not have the titles on them for too long, because I don't think that they really need to have the titles, and there's really no point. Have them go be in a feud maybe with the guy from Apollo Crews. He had his big bodyguard. I think his name was Kato or I forget how to say his name. However the heck you say his name, I would rather see that than have AJ Styles and Omos be the Raw Tag Team Champions. So we'll have to see, but I really hope that they drop the titles very soon, because I just hope that this was just a way to give AJ Styles the Grand Slam champion. But again, that is something else we will just have to find out on Raw. It is going to be hopefully a really good Raw, but for somebody that didn't have a really good WrestleMania, on night one in the opening match, we talked about it a little bit earlier with Bobby Lashley, the guy that he beat was Drew McIntyre. So what is next for Drew McIntyre? He had an amazing 2020. He main evented WrestleMania. He held the title high over Brock Lesnar, but a year later he lost in the opening match to Bobby Lashley. So what is next for Drew McIntyre? Can he keep up his momentum? He lost a lot lot at WrestleMania. I don't know what is going to be next for Drew. I cannot wait to see. I hope maybe they start a feud. Maybe they have some type of like feud like they're doing on SmackDown with Seth Rollins and Cesaro, which was another match at WrestleMania that was really good. So hopefully we'll have to see. But I mean, it would just be really interesting to see what Drew McIntyre could do, not being on the like after going after the top title, because he's been going after the top title for a very long time. So I think it's time for somebody else to challenge the almighty Bobby Lashley, and let's just move on. Like we talked about, it's a new season. It's the Raw after WrestleMania, baby. And now the next thing I want to go into is Sheamus winning the United States Championship and building his momentum on Raw. Sheamus and Riddle, they had a really brief rivalry and a really brief feud, but it was enough to set up a great WrestleMania match between the two. They put on a really, really good match, and he put on a really good clinic. Both of them did. I was really happy, and I was surprised how long and how good this match really was, because I was really worried that Vince was only going to give it like 5 or 6 minutes, but no, thank God he gave Riddle and Sheamus this time, because it was phenomenal. And the way that Sheamus won with the bro, Riddle trying to go doing a backflip and Sheamus bro kicking him and ending it, it was just awesome. So for the next challenger, I am hoping that it is going to be, maybe it's Keith Lee, maybe we even see Drew McIntyre go after Sheamus and the United States Championship. But I really do hope that it's Keith Lee, because as you know, Keith Lee was supposed to win the championship at Fastlane, but he sadly got hurt and he was just not able to get medically cleared. So it's the Raw after WrestleMania. Let's start Sheamus versus Keith Lee for the United States Championship, and that would just be an awesome feud to start off and have it match at Backlash, and let's have Keith Lee get the title that he was supposed to win a couple months ago. That's what I want to go down for the United States Championship, and that would just be amazing. And it's time for Keith Lee to get a championship in the WWE. The last thing I want to talk about on this Raw preview and this very special episode of Tino's Time Wrestling, it is what is going on with The Fiend. Last night, we saw something that, I didn't know what it was. It was confusing. Another thing I talked about in my WrestleMania post-show, I really just did not understand what was going on. And they started off night 2 with Alexa Bliss in the corner of The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. It was Randy Orton versus The Fiend, in case anybody was confused. I didn't understand what was going on. The Fiend came out, and his entrance was amazing. Like I said, that was the best thing about the match. Honestly, it was less than 6 minutes, and it was just there was a lot of questions to answer. Alexa Bliss bled. She distracted The Fiend and helped Randy Orton to win. Why is she doing this? Does she not like The Fiend? Was she playing him all along? Is Alexa behind everything? What is going on? I'm really intrigued, but I just hope that Randy Orton is out of this feud, because I don't really want to see Randy Orton and The Fiend continue this. This has been going on for too long, and it just needs to stop and end. And, Randy Orton got his retribution on The Fiend, so it kind of ended. So let's see The Fiend and Alexa go after somebody else, or let's see Alexa and The Fiend go after, let's see something like that. That would be a really intriguing storyline to go into after WrestleMania and keep people's interest, because after you started WrestleMania last night with that match and then the women's tag team match, even though Tamina, you did a phenomenal job, it just was not the best way to start WrestleMania night 2, but that's just my opinion. I have heard other people say the same opinion, so I'm not the only one that thinks this, but we have to find out what is going on with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. Will we finally get these answers? Hopefully we do, because it's the Raw after WrestleMania. It's supposed to be the biggest Raw of the year. It's supposed to be one of the best Raws of the year. Hopefully it lives up to the hype, and hopefully we have some returns, debuts, call-ups, some whatever it may be. Maybe we see a title change tonight. That would be kind of interesting and intriguing. Maybe we see Keith Lee and Sheamus right away. Who knows? Maybe we see Rhea Ripley defend the title. There's so many questions to be answered on this Raw that it is almost here. We are less than 2 hours away, so you need to go check out my WrestleMania post-show, my Raw after WrestleMania pre-show, and then you need to go get ready for an amazing Raw on Monday night on the USA Network. I am so excited. It's going to be lit. So until Raw is over, Go have fun. Go grab your popcorn. Go grab your snacks. And until Raw is over, when your boy does a Raw after WrestleMania post show, this is your boy Tino signing out.